Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode here on the Talk Daily. Hopefully, you have a good one wherever you're out there. Today is going to be a kind of a dense story, and it is what it is. You make of it what you make of it. I'm only here sharing the information with you. I'm going to give you my opinion of it too. So, before I get any further, I'm getting my information from an article, by Reuters, and it's written by David Shepardson and David Lauder. Also, I'm getting my information from another article from Car and Driver and written by John Velkrick. And as always, I have a link to everything I show you in the description below. So let's dig into this because this is a juicy story. Now, what's going on? Last August, President Biden signed the Inflation Reduction Act. Among its hundreds of pages were measures to restructure the federal tax incentive for buying a plug-in vehicle and boost U.S. production of EVs and their batteries. Much confusion ensued. The final guidance, and I'm reading directly from the article, was issued by the U.S. Treasury on March 31st, meaning next Tuesday, April 18, is the day everything changes. That day, only battery, electric, and plug-in hybrid vehicle assembled in North America, that means U.S., Canada, or Mexico, with MSRP less than $55,000 for cars, $80,000 for SUVs and light trucks, will qualify for purchases incentives up to $7,500. Equally challenging, the sources of certain percentage of their battery minerals, and components are restricted to a specific list of countries, one that notably does not include China, by far the world's largest source of those components as of today. The EPA said it will not revise its list of eligible EVs until April 17, the day before the new rules come into effect. And note that commercial fleet customers that lease their EVs can qualify for the full incentive regardless of the factors stated above. In a statement, Alliance for Automotive Innovation CEO John Bozella told Reuters the requirement that EV must be assembled in North America to qualify for any credit eliminates 70% of EV models on sale today. Man. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. So, again, saying the U.S. Treasury Department unveiled stricter electric vehicle tax rules on Friday that will reduce or remove tax credit on some zero-emission models, but grant buyers another 2 weeks before the requirement take effect. The rules are aimed to wearing the United States off dependence on China for EV battery supply chain and are part of President Joe Biden's effort to make 50% of U.S. new vehicle sales by 2023 EVs or plug-in hybrid. The EV battery sourcing guidelines issued on Friday triggered a new requirement for critical minerals and battery component and take effect for vehicles purchased starting April 18. U.S. official acknowledged some vehicles will see credit cut or eliminated. Tesla said on Wednesday the Model 3 rear-wheel drive credit will be reduced as a result of the guidance. The government will publish by April 18 a revised list of qualifying model and tax credit amount. The $430 billion Inflation Reduction Act, IRA, signed by Biden in August, eliminated manufacturers' EV sales cap but imposed new conditions on EV credit. They include a North American assembly requirement from August, price and buyer's income eligible cap from January 1st. And now the battery and critical mineral sourcing rules effective April 18. All right, so you guys can go read that on and on and on. So I'm just gonna try to get. I like the way how the Car and Driver they basically said, okay, there's like winners and losers, or who wins from this currently as we state, like right now in 2023, as in this video, who's doing well, who is gonna be okay with this new rule. And winners are GM so far. GM Motors not only plan to build all of its future EVs in North America, but has announced numerous mineral sourcing contracts and is setting up at least 3 batteries plants at joint ventures with its longtime sell partner, LG Solution. The company gave Car and Driver a statement saying we expect a number of our Ultium-based EVs. Ultium-based EV is basically a skateboard design, a battery lineup. You know, they invented it. It's basically like a skateboard and you built whatever car you built on top of it. That's Ultium-based EVs. including the Cadillac Lyriq and additional EV launching this year, like the Chevy Equinox EV SUV and Blazer EV SUV, to qualify for the full $7,500 credit in 2023. So they're all basically boasting, I can do it. I have all these cars I made in the US, and all boasting about where they're making it. Ford Lincoln doing the same thing, saying the F-150 is built in, what are built in? It's built in Detroit. There you go. And gets full $7,500 credit. So does the Lincoln Aviator Grand Touring plug-in hybrid. But other cars like the Mustang E, which built in Mexico, the E-Transit, commercial van built in Kansas City, the Ford Escape PHEV, Lincoln Corsair Grand Touring, they all get $3,750. They don't get the full credit because, and the article saying it's either location or the source of their battery components and assembly. They're all made in the US, so if you do the deduction, they're obviously not talking about the source of that battery, China. Tesla is not qualifying for much because the Model 3 is saying that most of their batteries are coming from China, all made in California. It builds all of four of its model and most of its battery packs in California, Nevada, and Texas, the Tesla that is. But its larger Model S and Model X exceed the price cap. Tesla does not communicate with the press, but it said that 10 days ago it expected the rear-wheel drive Model 3 to receive a lower tax credit. Likely because of its China source iron phosphate battery. But Tesla are doing some discount. They have $5,000 off the price of Model S and Model X, $2,000 off the Model Y, and $1,000 off the Model 3 sticker. Other vehicles that come to mind, the Genesis, the GV70 electrified. Again, they're saying we're going to move in. The company's saying by April, they're basically saying we're going to qualify for the full credit at some point because Hyundai has a plant in Montgomery, Alabama. They're just working on obviously sourcing their battery because what else is there, right? So, but that kind of makes me kind of like wonder, right? Because you're like, okay, Hyundai and Kia, the same company, right? Genesis. If they're all like currently we're not qualified, they're saying we will qualify. We have planned to build in, etc. in the US. So that basically tell me that the Koreans are not getting their batteries from. Well, that tells me that the Koreans are getting their batteries from China. So that's kind of confusing. I don't know. I guess they're gonna change their sources and get their batteries. Well, the minerals for their batteries not from China, which I don't believe it. I don't think so. Hyundai and Kia, given those brands' aggressive plan to launch full array of EV models and good reviews received by their newest model, it is undoubtedly a blow to their U.S. arm that all their tax incentive will vanish on April 18. However, last May, the company announced it will build a dedicated EV assembly plant in Georgia. Those plans have likely accelerated, meaning the first U.S.-built Hyundai and or Kia might qualify for credit soon into the year. So the good news, they're saying, obviously, we're going to build in Georgia and everything is going to be fine. Great. But again, I'm kind of skeptical as far as like the minerals for the battery because China has the most. And at the end of the day, all these companies are in the business of making money. $7,500 tax credit is great, but I have a feeling, and I'm just gonna say, I'm gonna go on a limb, say it's not the first time China does it, right? You get a container with a Chinese flag, and it's coming through the, whatever the destination is, it'll make a stop somewhere, change the flag, and say, hey, it originated from this other place, and it's nothing new about China. If you don't know, they do that with honey, right? Like some of the honey coming from China wasn't like great quality and whatnot. So what the Chinese did, they made dock it. I don't know. I will dock it in Singapore or whatever, somewhere else, right? They change the flag and say, well, it's originating from Singapore. It's not Chinese honey. Look, it's business. It's big corporation. It is what it is. So I have a feeling something like that will occur by this because do everybody play by the rules? Sure, you be the judge of that. I'm being honest with you. No, all these people are in the business of making money. They don't care. Rules are meant to be almost broken, right? When that's how you get the cutting edge on your competitor, right? You get almost to that point where you don't break it. Stellantis, that's a humongous car company. If you don't know about it, they have all the Fiat and, well, they don't mention Fiat here. They mention Jeep, Ram, Dodge, and Chrysler. The Chrysler Pacifica plug-in hybrid minivan, a Jeep Wrangler 4xe, and the Grand Cherokee 4xe plug-in hybrid are built in North America. The Pacifica will keep the full credit, $7,500, but the plug-in Jeeps will fall to $3,700 each. That automatically tells you because the batteries sources obviously is not from the good list, the list that qualifies for that. The upcoming Dodge Hornet RT plug-in hybrid is built in Italy, so won't qualify. So if it's not built in the US, it won't even qualify, period. Stellantis sells no battery electric vehicles in North America today. Another interesting, what I noticed about this whole electric thing, the Japanese are not doing so well. They're not doing so well. Nissan, a company, Leaf battery electric hatchback made in Tennessee since 2013 with a battery cell assembled in adjacent facility. Senior manager told senior manager of EV sales and strategy told Car and Drive. But the company is still checking whether the Leaf, which confirmed will continue till 2024, will qualify for incentive. It should. What the heck? The company new Iria EV crossover, however, will not qualify because that thing is made in Japan. That's why it's not going to qualify. But why the Leaf is not qualifying for anything? It should have something like 3,000, like the Jeep, right? $3,700 each. I'm confused by that. And why wouldn't qualify anything? So probably a battery source from China, but you still get something, right? It's made in the US. They mentioned Volkswagen, Audi, and other brands. The Germans, again, the Germans are doing okay. They have the ID4 as a SUV. It's built in Tennessee, but it's still assembling whether it qualifies for the incentive. The VW rep told Car and Driver they're carefully reviewing it and evaluating whatever Section 30D battery component. Again, battery component and minimal. Because everybody getting the stuff from China. So Volkswagen are not ready yet, but they're obviously looking out for sources. Long term, VW is saying, oh, we're going to do great things, right? Everybody's saying, oh, we're going to offer 25 separate EV cars, including Lamborghinis, and that's all dreams. Anyway, they expected. That's not current. Honda and Acura, they flunked, dude. Honda, Toyota, they flunked. They invested in hydrogen and it backfired. It did not work. I don't say backfired. What they learned from hydrogen is fantastic, but it's really not bringing them any revenue. Their hydrogen sales is minuscule, and all the money, energy, and time they invested in it. And that's why if you're wondering why seeing Type R's, you're seeing a GR Corolla, GR this, GR that, is because they're really not selling much and they're making their brand as exciting as possible because they're behind on electric. It's not like they can't make electric, but they simply invested in hydrogen and it didn't work. I can make a video about that. That's a completely different story. So what Honda is doing is like, oops, we don't have anything electric. They went to GM and I said, GM, please, can I have your skateboard design? And GM goes, yeah, sure. And GM given access to the Ultium platform, in which basically it's a GM-based made cars. So you're just gonna have a Honda design on top of it. It's gonna be the Prologue and ZDX. So they should qualify because they're using made in GM, so it's made in America. So those will probably qualify. What else? The Audi, BMW, Mercedes Benz. Again, you probably understand that most of their cars exceed the 55,000 for passenger and 80,000 for SUV. So naturally, some of their cars are not going to qualify, even though it's made in the US or their sources, the mineral sources is not from China. Moving on, Toyota, I mentioned that too. The Toyota RAV4 Prime and a Prime Plus a plug-in hybrid, they sell them good, but they're made in Japan, so they don't qualify, unlike all other RAV4. RAV4 usually made in North America, but not the Prime, not the plug-in. And again, Toyota invested in hydrogen. That did not work out. We just talked about it. Is BZ4X crossover, and those names are not helping either. I mean, the Lexus NX 450 H Plus, you couldn't find more like a generic name. Come on, people, like BZ4X. And then that car was a disaster. That's the car that was recalled because the wheels can come off and gives you a range of like 100 and some. They're not ready. But hey, they make the GR. They're making amazing sport cars. Okay, they are going very hard at TRD. You can get a TRD Camry. Every single thing, and I mean that's a good thing that happened, I guess. If you like internal combustion engine, Toyota makes some fantastic internal combustion engine. They make a lot of exciting cars, a lot. I mean, almost every single their car has a lineup when you can get it to look like, whoa, that's sporty, that feels great, because they don't have anything electric. That's the reason why it's happening. And then Toyota, of course, saying, oh, we're going to make that in 2025, we're going to have 200,000 EVs. We're going to. Of course, it's Toyota. They have the arm. They have the strength. Good luck to them. Subaru, it's kind of a Toyota. So you would understand. I put them all together. They have the 2024 Crosstech that has just been released, and the company has stayed quiet whether to add the plug-in hybrid version offered in previous generation. The Crosstrek production has now moved from Japan to Indiana. So there's at least a theoretical chance that Subaru might get some credit for the US built Crosstrek PHEV. We don't know yet. And then I mentioned Mazda. The company sells the MX-30 EV strictly in California only. That thing doesn't have that much range, but it is what it is. This small EV is built in Japan and will not qualify for any federal incentive. I guess the battery also comes from China. The new CX-90 SUV offers a PHEV option, but it's built in Japan also. Like Subaru would likely to get any further battery electric technology via its Toyota connection. Toyota. So yeah, that's what it is. Obviously, a lot of car makers out there, but that's the list as of now. Let me know what you think. To me, I'm not being negative or pessimistic or being negative Nancy, but I really have a feeling. Okay, well, I'm gonna read this quote right here from the Reuters saying on Tuesday, the United States and Japan inked a trade deal on EV battery minerals. The Treasury says newly negotiated critical minerals agreement can be considered free trade agreement. The guidance lists Japan as having U.S. free trade deal. The South Korean government welcomed the new rules, adding they reflected their opinion of the South Korean battery industry substantially and removed a great deal of uncertainty. In a statement on Saturday, the country trade minister said the government plans to hold further negotiation with the U.S. on a requirement of South Korean companies if necessary. American tax dollars should not be used to support manufacturing jobs overseas, says Menchie said. It's a pathetic excuse to spend more taxpayer dollars as quickly as possible and further sends control for the Chinese Communist Party in the process. Yeah, this thing goes again. Basically, they're saying, "Oh, we don't want to support the Chinese government by spending all that money on their batteries, on sourcing the batteries." But we'll see. We'll see how they get enforced. How is this going to be enforced? How are they going to go back to the source and say, "I remember the example I did with the ship." Look, man, all these companies they could say, "I'm patriotic." Nobody cares. All these companies are not even. I mean, I'm not being again. That's my opinion. I'm not being negative. I'm just being honest with you. Just how companies work, right? uh, Corporations are not they're not based they don't have a flag like, oh, I love this. They don't. I'm not saying they're mean, like they don't like their country of origin, but they're loyal to their shareholders. That's the number one reason the corporation exists in the first place. GM only exists if it doesn't please the shareholders and it's not making money. GM will not be around. End of story. So the fact that they have all these restrictions and they're gonna find ways to optimize their advantage and put their competitors in a you know tougher spot if they could, right? This is not a fair playing ground. All these car companies are luring us, the consumer, who work our butt off, our hard-earned money, and to buy their cars, and an incentive it helps. Well, people are gonna say, well, if I could save 7,500, I'm gonna buy that car, right? And that's why they're all fighting for it. But I still think that you can't get away from the fact that China has most of the resources. Like I don't know where they're gonna find. Uh, I mean, going for battery, it's like okay, going for oil, you go to the oil countries. You go for batteries, you're gonna go for the countries that has the minerals. What are you gonna create it out of nothing? I don't know. Good luck to them. Hey, uh, I'm just boss saying, okay, let's go, man. We're going that way, full throttle. Let's go. Let's see where we're heading. Because as of now, I think it's good. I mean, uh, if it's, I mean, I got nothing against China, but I mean, if it's not supporting China when China trying to, I don't know, man. We'll see. Let me know what you think. All I know is trade, and the end of the day, business is all about money. It's all about the bottom line. It's really not about you don't want to support this country, you don't want to support that country. Good luck. I think the end of the day, everyone is going to work together. That's what's going to happen. All these corporations. I think, in conclusion, my personal opinion, at the end of this, I've been talking for a minute here. I've been talking for, oh my God, 20 minutes. In conclusion, I think that corporations who are nameless, like they don't care about country and whatnot. They're just gonna work together and to make the maximum amount of money they can possibly make. And I don't think it's anything with patriotic or whatnot, unless there's war, God forbid. Um, yeah, just gonna maximize our profit. And regardless, hopefully us, the consumer, will win, right? Because at the end of the day, this is good news for us, the consumer, at least here in North America. You get the tax incentive. Good for you. Yes, changing, but you 7,500 is, a substantial amount of money. So, hey, hopefully, let's see where this goes. And if you're buying a car and you qualify for that, let us know in the comments below. Anyways, as always, take care and see you next time. All right. See you, everybody. It's been a long video. Take care, everybody. Bye bye.